Hello and welcome back to Theatre Beard, the YouTube channel dedicated to students of the performing arts, be that BTEC, GCSE or anybody with a bit of an interest. Today is another Wordy Wednesday, so we're going to be looking at vocabulary and terminology around theatre and performance studies so that we know what we're talking about and what other people are talking about. But before we move on to today's words, please subscribe to the channel because there's going to be plenty more videos to come, and make sure you check out the videos that I've already posted. Now, in the very first video that I ever posted on this channel, I talked about how I was going to unpack the terms drama, theatre and performance in a later video. And this is that very video. Now, some of you might be very familiar with those terms and just think, I already know what he's talking about, so I'm not going to watch. But stay tuned because there's some very distinct differences between each of those things. One of the reasons I wanted to make this video was because my degree is in theatre and performance studies, but my master's degree is in drama and performance. So it's really important that we know what we're talking about when we're talking about those three things, what they've got in common and how they differ from each other. So for me, when I'm talking about drama, I'm really referring to the kind of rehearsal process or a drama workshop, classes, exercises, technique, that kind of thing. So, for example, it might be in a rehearsal where you're using techniques such as hot seating, where you put one character on a chair and other people can interview that character, fire questions at them, and it helps to build the world of that character. So that's a real kind of drama workshop technique. And the same goes for exercises like pressure circles or conscience alley. You might have used these things in your drama lessons to be able to help you to get to know your characters a bit better and the decisions that they've got to make and the choices that they face. So for me, that's what drama is. It's the stuff that goes on behind the scenes before we take it to the stage, the work that you do in a rehearsal situation. It's very different from being a drama queen. The amount of times I get approached by a student who tells me, I'm going to be really good at drama because my mum tells me I'm a right drama queen. So being a drama queen just means making a big deal out of something that isn't a big deal at all. And it's not necessarily very useful when it comes to making performances. Which brings me on to theatre. So for me, theatre is all to do with place and space. And I'm not talking about outer space. I mean the space in which a performance takes place. Now, the obvious answer to what theatre is a theatre. A building that performances take place in. If you think about the theatre that's nearest to you, you would be correct in thinking that that is a theatre. However, we can broaden that term to any place or space where a performance happens. So, for example, I've seen performances that take place in a multi-storey car park. I've seen performances that take place in a park. I've seen performances that have taken place in some underground tunnels. And because performances happen in those spaces, they can all be classed as theatres, even though they might not have nice plush seats or a curtain or a stage even. So for me, when I'm talking about theatre, I'm talking about the location where performances happen. Which brings me on to performance, and you would think again that this is quite an easy term to understand, but if you really think about it, we use the word performance in lots of different ways. We sometimes talk about the performance of a car, we sometimes talk about the performance of a sports person or a football player, for example. And in a theatre context, it's really important to think about how performance differs from drama. Now, I'm going to paraphrase a famous quote by a theatre practitioner called Peter Brook. Now, he wrote a book called The Empty Space, and in it, he said that in order for a performance to take place, all that he needs is an empty space, an actor to walk across that space, and somebody to watch it. I always liken that to the fire triangle. So in order for a fire to happen, you need three things. You need a fuel, you need heat, and you need oxygen. And if one of those things is missing, you can't have a fire. So in order for a performance to happen, we need a space, we need an actor, and we need an audience. And if one of those three things is missing, you haven't got a performance. So it's really that inclusion of an audience, the people watching what you're doing, that makes it a performance. So even if you were to bring invited guests into your drama lesson to watch what you're doing, that's kind of like a performance. So your drama workshop becomes a performance because you've got an audience now. And so concludes today's Wordy Wednesday. If you've got any questions or feedback, or if you've got any suggestions for future Wordy Wednesdays, then by all means pop those in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, share this video, and I'll see you next time.